to, solve our power problem. Power in Nigeria is one of the biggest issues we still have. And what we try to do on Power Solutions here is, to bring more solutions closer to you to see how these problems can be solved. I have an amazing guest today. I call him Doctor. He happens to be one of the very first scientists or doctor we're having on the show, and that's really amazing. His name is Dr. Patrick Agese. He's founder, CEO of PAM Africa. And today we are discussing upscaling affordable solar power. Doctor, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Wisdom. No, really nice you guys having me here, and also being here with you too as well. It's my pleasure of mine. And unfortunately, I wish Colin was actually here. I haven't got time to meet him in person. Maybe we'll catch up later.
Of course. He's listening, I'm sure.
That's good.
And every guest we have on the show, they've always been happy to meet Collins.
That's good.
Superstar of Power Solutions. All right, so let's get right into it. First of all, like I said, you're one of the very first scientists we're having on the show. But I want to know what is your passion towards energy? I mean, doing this up to PhD level, there must be some passion. Yeah, his doctor is not medical doctor, please. Oh.
They have to get it all correct. No, I don't treat people.
Yes. Okay, but tell us about your passion, your professional background. I mean, let's meet you.
Sure. So, first thing first, I want to apologize to Nigerians from Nigeria. Like, we've been without electricity for a very long time, reliable electricity for a very long time.
Okay.
And it's a huge problem. I mean, I grew up in a small village in Delta State, Nigeria, called Irawa.
Okay.
And my father was also an engineer. He traveled around the world with building ships and servicing ships. When he came back a while ago. I was about 10 years old.
Okay.
And he took me to a solar project site, one of his first solar project sites. It was incredible when I figured out from the sunlight, you can actually provide electricity to a community. People can pump their waters. I was mind blown from that age, and I made a pact and I promised myself that I would have to do whatever it takes to understand that technology to the maximum level and hopefully bring it back home with increased innovation so that we can finally solve our electricity problems.
Interesting. Such passion. I can imagine what that has done. Okay, now you founded PAM Africa in 2021, just last year. I like to say there are tons of companies who want to solve power problems in Nigeria, and you also want to provide reliable power to Africans. I mean, you didn't even just say Nigerians, you're saying Africans.
That's right.
And there are tons of companies that are doing or want to achieve the same thing like you.
That's right.
So what are you doing differently at PAM Africa?
So what we're doing differently is innovation. We're bringing the latest level of innovation to the energy problem.
Okay.
And how we're doing this is two key areas on the innovation. So we're innovating the business model, but we're also innovating the technology. We provide our main activity. We provide power to homes, businesses, and rural communities, and we do this on a affordable way by introducing our energy as a service business model, where we're actually just providing energy, and people can pay monthly rather than paying one huge expensive cost for solar. So it's important that we actually think about how we use energy, but also think about how people can afford this. If it's too expensive, then it doesn't go anywhere.
Affordability is one issue we'll talk about largely today, because when we had the program last week, we had people, saying, it's too expensive.
That's right.
Some have not even tried to buy it, but they've heard it's too expensive, so therefore they don't even go for it at all. And it's not what we want to encourage. I know, for one, doing this show for a while, there are a couple of solutions that are very affordable. Pay-as-you-go model is something that is becoming a thing now, and people can leverage on that to see what they can achieve. All right, so now we like to say that, or not we like to say that there's this research or these findings that says about 800 Africans don't have power, and but we know solar is the best alternative or would like to say renewable energy. I mean, solar is one that is closer, but why is affordability still a problem? At PAM Africa, I've been able to, dissect why affordability is a problem.
Sure. So it's so tricky when it comes to how you price your energy systems.
Okay.
Now, energy globally is expensive, not just Nigeria, right? Everywhere else, in the UK recently, I've heard that the energy price increased threefolds in a month or 2 months post the situation in Russia.
Okay.
So we're seeing that globally everybody's facing energy challenges. So not just Nigeria, but what we're doing in Nigeria that helps this get the price cheaper is by really using our design knowledge on engineering design knowledge first of all.
Okay.
So we design the optimal system for your home, right? So sometimes what other solar engineers might do would be to over design your system and then you're having a more expensive solution, right?
Okay.
But not only that are we looking from a technology point of view, reducing the cost, we're also looking at it from a business point of view. How can we ensure that people are paying monthly for these systems, right?
Okay.
How do we ensure we're getting the right level of cheap finance that can ensure people can actually afford this? So we use a mix of different blended financing approaches to ensure that the price that you pay monthly is very cheap.
Okay. Interested. Last week or some weeks back when we had the show and we spoke to some people, like I mentioned before, the issue is a lot, power. I don't know how and when we're going to solve this problem, but I'm happy that we're trying our best, to see what we're doing, and having companies like you play in this sector and talk to Nigerians on this show. There are affordable solutions we can see that can reach pay as you go is a lot, and I see a lot of companies doing that, but we'll talk a bit about some of the solutions you're deploying. We know you have a mini grids and a mesh grid solutions you're deploying. You want to talk about it briefly for us?
Yeah, sure. So the mini grid and mesh grid side of the business is aimed at the rural communities, right?
Okay.
So we know in Nigeria specifically, there's about 80 million Nigerians in the rural communities who do not have access to electricity.
80 million.
80 million is a huge number. I think just above that. And we need to now find a solution for those people. Let's not leave them behind.
Okay.
Because if you look at the solar systems, a lot in the urban areas, the people that can pay for it. But what about the people who don't have that much money? How can they afford it? So we have introduced new innovations across the mini grid and mesh grid value chain, where we can have people's houses who are on solar in the rural areas all interconnected together to form a grid. In this case, providing more cheaper electricity because the energy is actually produced at the point of use, right? So we're working with a couple of institutions to provide funding for those type of projects. And once those projects go in, we actually call them a couple of villages, about 16 villages now we have signed up. And
where?
In Ishoka local government area, Osun State. We have in Port Harcourt regions. We have on a local government area. And then we have Akwa Ibom. We have a couple of them in Akwa Ibom area as well. So these are going to be called the net zero villages, right? Net zero villages, which is the amount of energy produced in that community will majority be from renewable energy. That it can offset any carbon emissions coming from those villages, and they will all have access to 24-hour power.
We know about mini grids, but mesh grids is sort of new.
Yes.
You want to take us back a little and explain how mesh grids work?
Okay, so mesh grid, when you hear mesh, think about nets, right?
Okay.
A net has about 4 or 5 nodes connected to each point, right? So let's say you look at a village, you have Mr. Tunde's house here or Mrs. Shegun's house here.
Yeah.
When Mr. Tunde has his solar panels in his house, it's connected to Mrs. Shegun's house, which is now connected to Mrs. Ola's house on the next door. All connected together as a mesh. So now they can be transferring electricity from one house to another to ensure reliable power across the village.
Interested. If you're just tuning in, this is Power Solutions, and we have been speaking with Dr. Patrick Agese. He's founder, CEO, PAM Africa. Power Solutions is sponsored by All On, energy investment company, in partnership with Nigeria Info, your number one talk station. So if you're tuning in now, you've not missed a lot. We've just been talking about upscaling affordable solar power. we always complain often that solar power is expensive, but we're here to break it down for you a little more, to tell you that there are some affordable solutions that you can leverage on, just to stay on. No, not all on. All right. Now, so one part of the complaint or the issues, the feedback we always get is, battery. So if I need to power my entire house, the conversation is always around, the batteries will not last. They will use too many batteries. The batteries are expensive. So we know that battery storage slightly makes the whole solar thing expensive. Maybe you can confirm that for us. But how long can the best batteries last? I know you work around batteries at PAM Africa.
Yeah. And I even did a lot of battery research on the PhD level at the university. So I can talk about it into huge depth if you need to.
We don't have all day, but
I will try to minimize and talk about it in a very high level perspective.
Okay.
So there's in the current solar systems in Nigeria, globally, there's two leading technologies when it comes to battery storage, batteries. You've got the lead acid battery, and then you've got the lithium ion batteries.
Okay.
Right? So lithium ion batteries are the ones that are on your mobile phone. Yep. They're not liquid, there's no water in them, and they can be scaled up to bigger sizes that can be used for solar projects, right? Okay. And the lead acid batteries are the type that are in your cars. There's normally have electrolytes with something that are liquid in them, which for moving electrons. These are the batteries that are normally used in solar systems now. They're the cheaper ones, but unfortunately they have a lower cyclicity. What that means is you can only cycle them off on for about 2,000 cycles. But the lithium ion battery can cycle for about 6,000 cycles. That means you should be able to get between 6 to 7 years of very good operation with a lithium battery.
For the lithium battery.
Compared to a lead acid battery that will give about 2 years of operations.
So how much does this lithium battery cost? How much?
Yes. So let's say in comparison to the lead acid battery, it's about a third higher than the cost, right?
Okay.
Than the cost of a lithium ion than the cost of a lead acid battery,
Okay.
So it's important for people to understand that yes, it's a little bit expensive, but it's actually worth it because you're having the batteries last longer, so you don't have to replace those batteries as quick as possible. For example, a lot of people that will be installing solar after 2 years will stop working. It's because you don't have good batteries, right? So at PAM Africa, we ensure that we actually install lithium-ion batteries in our products.
And this can last up to 5-6 years?
5-6 years. So it comes with 5-year warranty, but it can last up to 10 years. Some of the batteries, So
how regular is maintenance?
So on the batteries?
Yes, on the batteries.
So you don't need to maintain these batteries because it's not, you don't have a liquid electrolyte where you have to change electrolytes.
Oh, I see.
You don't need to maintain them. So it's just maintenance free for the next 10 years. Now, in PAM Africa, sometimes you might have 1 or 2 cells that might go wrong in the batteries, let's say after year 7. What we can do, instead of having a new battery replacement, we can just replace one of those cells. And now your battery is now up and running for the next 5 years again. So making it much more cost effective for you.
And this is a service you offer at PAM Africa?
That's correct, yeah. That's our battery operational services.
Interesting. Okay, so I know because of your level of education around this, PAM Africa has has applied innovation to some of the solutions, and we know you have something you call the butcher box, and so cool. I don't know. I don't want to be the one to explain it. I know a bit about it, but I want to tell us about the butcher box and communities you have been able to deploy this. How does it work?
Yeah, sure. So the butcher box is really a solar kiosk that has an inbuilt fridge.
A fridge, like a refrigerator.
Okay. And the most amazing thing is there is no external power coming in, but it's all powered by solar. Right?
Okay.
So you can see those traders in the market who sell meat or fish, right? They can now have their cold room, which is the fridge in there. They can store their food, they can lock their butcher box, they can go home, they can come back the next day and start trading. And what we introduced is when we were actually surveying these traders, majority of them were female traders. And they reported that the goods were stolen, they didn't feel safe. But with the butcher box, they can lock the butcher box.
Okay.
If they're trading, they can lock themselves inside, feel safer, and trade all night because there's lights and there's refrigeration there.
But why the name butcher box? Why butcher box?
Because we're thinking about the butcher box is mainly aimed at butchers, right? So we're looking at people who are selling meat, who are selling fish.
Because of the refrigerator you have inside.
That's correct.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That's correct.
So the meat sellers and in our markets across the country can have this butcher box. It comes with a fridge and helps them to sell.
Yes.
And I mean, there's a security thing you mentioned around it. Can you take that
Yeah.
again?
So they can lock the butcher box, and we have so the in the butcher box, the solar monitoring system, the GPS unit, so that in case the butcher box gets moved to somebody else or gets tampered with, we get at PAM Africa, we get a notification and we can inform the traders that this is what's going on in your boxes. So we're really taking it to the cutting edge of innovation when we're thinking about solving the problem. But we're not introducing a new solution. We're looking at the current way our business is being done, but improving that with renewable energy.
What about the So Cool one? How does that go?
Yes. So Cool one takes the butcher box to another whole new level, right? We're now introducing a solar-powered computer in the box.
Solar-powered computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the same circuit that have the fridges, we add a computer to that system. So now, if you're looking at rural areas where not everybody has access to mobile phones, not everybody has access to online banking and so forth, it forms as a one-stop shop for where you can go and do your transactions. You can go and do, you can print out documents or get information online. So it really brings together the community, and we've deployed 4 butcher boxes in Lagos. We can't wait to kind of get some more of those in this rural
these
areas.
butchers may not necessarily understand how this computer you're putting in the box, how it works.
Sure. So that's where we get involved is we educate those customers saying, look, currently you're making X amount of naira a month by this, but with these boxes it will ensure that you'll make more money because you can offer more services. So not only are we improving the lives of the people there, but we're also improving the economy by adding new services that those people can serve.
Interesting. Now you said you've deployed this in Lagos.
Yes.
Where else?
Ojodu in Lagos.
Ojodu Bega.
Ojodu Bega.
In Lagos.
There's 4. So keep an eye out for that. If you need to get access to and see one of these working, give us a call and we can arrange that for you.
All right, interesting. If you're just tuning in again, we're just talking to Dr. Patrick Agese. He's CEO of Founder of PAM Africa, and we are discussing upscaling affordable solar power. I mean, breaking down for us what his company is doing around making solar affordable for all. So now, we know there's a system you have that sort of monitors. I mean, it has an artificial intelligence. Is it that computer you mentioned you put in the butcher box, or there's another system entirely where you can monitor performance of this solar systems you deploy?
Yes, exactly.
I don't know if you can talk about that.
So what we do, we install the systems, right, and we have a data collection platform, right, where we can collect data on how energy is being used in those either the boxes or the So Cool solution, or the people or the homes and the businesses, and then we can now provide intelligence to the system so that it can help inform the users on how best to use that system to ensure that they have a longer lasting solution and it doesn't go off after 3 or 4 years. But also it can even work, the AI works where it's informing the batteries when to charge and when to discharge. So now your battery can last longer because it's actually learning from the way you use energy and how you use energy, and then optimize the way the battery charges and discharges. This is a code I wrote at university and I brought to Nigeria because I know the impact it will have here.
You wrote this code?
I wrote that code at university, yes.
Wow.
So we're waiting for a couple of more projects that will put it there, and we will publish a report on seeing how many years that we estimate the battery lifespan would increase by using the PAM meter solution.
I'm curious to ask, when you go to these communities, what's your assessment of the engagement with them, to talk about these systems you want to deploy? How was the acceptance like? You want to talk about how you went about that?
Oh, amazing. Yeah. So we have at PAM Africa, we have a couple of employees who are specifically hired for employee community engagement. Okay. So sometimes I go there, I'm going with one or few of them, and the most amazing thing is that when you go to these communities, their eyes are lit up. They're like, finally, people are coming here to come and give us light. They're so happy, right? Because over the years they've been ignored. They've been promised a lot of things, but nothing is coming up there. But once we come in there, they are so happy. We have a lot of meetings. They come together. They take pictures. They give us food. It's very welcoming, right? Very welcoming, and they look very happy. So So we're looking to kind of get a couple of more of those going on, and hopefully once we get a couple of projects in, we'll start talking about it a little bit more. For now, you're getting exclusive here.
That's what Power Solutions is meant for. We get exclusives here, and the goal for us is, when we know some of these innovative solutions, we want to bring it to the people. And I'm happy that over the years doing the show, we've been able to educate a lot of people on how these things work, and that's the goal for us, Okay, so before we let you go, tell us briefly in 1 minute, any other project you're working on at PAM Africa that we should know about. We like breaking news.
So I think at PAM Africa, innovation is one of our key values, right? We are an innovative business. The founder of the business came from an innovative background, and that has led to a lot of things. What we cannot wait for is really to announce a couple of these net zero villages that we're going to build.
Net zero villages,
because we're so excited about it, right? It's going to be one of the world's first net zero villages. Nowhere in the world, from our research, have we seen anyone build a net zero village, right? So where we're thinking about how the solar excess energy that's coming from the solar is used to power electric vehicles. Electric vehicle could be an electric bike that could be transporting people in those villages.
Electric bike?
Yeah, electric bikes, yeah. So the excess power, so we can share power between homes.
Okay.
We will now be able to share excess power to the electric bikes. And then people can now be transporting themselves in those villages. They don't need to buy fuel. They don't need to buy kerosene. It's completely obsolete in those communities.
Sorry, how do you plan to fund all of this? Do you have partners?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we have a couple of partners and financial institutions that we've engaged. I can't mention them now.
Okay.
But as over the next couple of years, we'll be making a few announcements to some of those things put in place. And then obviously we've engaged Olon as well. So you guys are really pushing forward. So we're willing to kind of get these things in, and once they're in, we're so excited that what could be actually achieved. The most important thing is to show a couple of these things done, and we've shown the butcher box, we've shown Soil Cool, we've shown Pan Meter. We can't wait to really kind of get these net zero villages on the way. That will be very exciting.
Amazing. Time is not always on our side. When you start talking, before 2 minutes,
it's gone.
10 minutes gone. But if you're just tuning in, you've been listening to Power Solutions. My name is Wisdom Chapp-Jumbo, and my guest here is Dr. Patrick Agese. He's CEO and founder of PAM Africa, and we've been talking about upscaling affordable power solutions, solar power rather. All right, before I let you go, Dr. Patrick, now someone that has been listening to us will be interested in the butcher box or the So Cool. How can they reach PAM Africa for any of these solutions? Because I know this will be very useful for people in our markets across the country, not just Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, and other areas across the country. So how can they reach you?
Yeah, sure. So you can either go on our website. There's a Get It Now button that you can just click, and you fill a very short form, and somebody will contact you. Okay. So our website is www.pamafrica.com, PAMAfrica.com. Or you can give us a call on our phone number. Our sales team are ready to pick up the call.
Yes, please.
Eager to pick up. So we can either call us on our direct line, which is 080-2064 1916. That's 080-2064-1916.
Yeah, but your target market's just butchers. You want to clarify that. Who are your target market, your target customers?
So for the butcher box is just butchers, and then for the So Cool is more traders and communities.
Okay, so if I have a business somewhere and I'm struggling with power, the So Cool solution can be my best bet.
That's correct. Yeah.
But we didn't even talk about how much these things cost.
That's right. So the most ingenious thing about this is that we're providing it as a service, right?
As a service.
So you don't need to worry about the capital cost up front. You can just inquire. You pay 30% deposit, and then you pay monthly. And I'll give you an example. The cheapest solar power solution that we offer right now it just goes for at least 8,000 naira a month. From 8,000 naira a month, you can have solar energy. That's if you're looking for homes.
Okay.
The butcher box is a little bit more than that, but it's affordable for those traders because they're using it to make money.
They pay this a month?
Pay this monthly, yes.
Monthly?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, Wisdom.
It's been very insightful talking some of the solutions and what you do at PAM Africa. Again, this is why we have Power Solutions, sponsored by Olon, but in partnership with Nigeria Info, your number one talk station. And we bring this every Monday, so look out for us every Monday to share on some of these solutions we are coming close to you with. Thank you so much, Dr. Patrick, and I appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Wisdom.
All
No,
right.
I really have
Until
fun.
next week.
Thank you.
Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.